The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 65. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of courageous women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Want to learn how you can change your inner beliefs and attitudes? Download a free copy of the ebook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady on today. She's a dear friend. I actually met her a couple months ago in person. I've known her a while now online, but I've met her in person in Las Vegas, and she's a phenomenal woman. She's a singer-songwriter, a mompreneur who lives in the rainforest in Australia. And, one thing I really like to brag about her was that, she released an album on Amazon, and she was at the bottom of the list. I don't even know what number it was. It was just way at the bottom. And in I think a couple weeks, she just hit number one, right? I mean, I don't know how she does it or how she did it, but she just went number one. She beat, some of the most famous artists you would ever meet. And, it's just such an achievement, right? And I like to always celebrate all these achievements that women do, right? Coming from the bottom and just getting to the top. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Terri Nicholson. So Terri, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me on here, Sheena. Such a pleasure. Yeah, so like you said, I'm from the rainforest of Australia, right next to the ocean on the east coast of Australia. And I'm a mum of 3 gorgeous boys and just really live close to nature. And I'm just so passionate about inspiring other women, people out there, just to know that you don't have to kind of wait around to be discovered, that we have these gifts to share with the world just by being ourselves, and, to just inspire and empower other women to go out there and do it as well. So I just so resonate with what you're creating here on your podcast to empower women around the world.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we're on the same boat.
Totally.
So Terri, what's your cultural background?
So I'm Australian. I'm not an Indigenous Australian, but my sort of cultural history were before my family came over from England and Scotland to Australia. But my family's been in Australia for a good 3 or 4 generations.
That's cool. I didn't even know you were originally from England or Scotland. Have you ever been there?
No, very briefly to England. But yeah, no, I definitely have, really have a sense of belonging here in Australia, but always acknowledging that, the white people did, come in and invade this country, that just always respecting and acknowledging the Indigenous people of this country. In my region, it's the Widjabul-Waible people of the Bundjalung Nation.
I don't even think I can pronounce that word you just said, but that's it. That's pretty interesting, though, so thanks for sharing that. And Terri, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Mine's actually one that I kind of created myself, and it is this question that I ask myself. It's like my quote. I say to myself, am I being present, courageous, and vibrant in this moment? So that's what just really resonates for me as it gives me confidence, because at any moment, if I'm feeling a bit out of sorts or a bit out of alignment with myself and the way I want to be in the world, I ask myself this line, and it just brings me back into connection with myself and my ability to really step into my more vibrant, self-confident self.
I like that, and it's really important to ask the right questions to yourself, because that's when you start having the right answers come before your eyes, right? Or attract the right answers to you. So, I love when ladies come on and they start making their own quotes. I think it's pretty awesome. So thanks for sharing that. And Terri, what would be, in your own words, your definition of self-confidence?
Well, for me, it is about feeling good inside myself. It's about being congruent with how I want to be in the world within myself. So literally, the sense of congruence completely is equal to me with self-confidence, because if you're not being congruent with yourself, like if the way you want to be inside yourself or in the world is different to how you're behaving or acting or thinking, then it really just sets up this discord. So for me, when I feel congruent inside myself, it leads to self-confidence. So that's kind of my definition. And for me, that's literally being sort of present, courageous, and vibrant inside myself. And can I share where that came from briefly?
Sure.
Yeah, I read a book by Brendan Burchard called The Charge, and in it was this simple exercise to literally identify 3 words that really capture the essence of congruence, or how I want to be in the world, and to be able to use that as a kind of an anchor or a reference point. So you listeners out there, I really invite you to identify what your 3 words are. They'll be different to mine, but they can then just be something that you can ask yourself at any moment throughout the day. Just say, am I living in alignment with these 3 words, which is how I really want to be in the world. And I really do believe that my self-confidence and a real sense of presence and courage of the heart and vibrancy in my life has increased through this simple little exercise. It's really beautiful.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that small exercise. And I really believe that congruency is really important, because there's some people out there who look like they're confident, but on the inside, it's just they're terrified. They have low self-esteem, and congruency is really important, right? So thanks for sharing that definition. And Terri, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
It's an interesting one, because there's different levels of self-confidence. For me, I've actually felt like there's been this sense of kind of confidence in myself and in the world, right from my early years. And I really put that down to part of my upbringing and part of my experience in the early years, which was that the rainforest right next to where I grew up was going to be logged. And the community got together and really stood up peacefully and was able to impact political decision making, and that rainforest was protected and still stands today with these huge, beautiful trees, like 1,600-year-old trees. And I grew up with not only the beauty of that forest impacting my life and my sense of connection with the earth, but also this real sense that we as individuals can make a difference for what we believe in. And so that really instilled this real legacy for me of confidence, and that I really try to pass on to my children, around that each of us does matter. Each of us can make a difference for what we believe in. So that's been there. And of course, then I have my own, other parts of my self-confidence where I have felt, scared of sharing myself or my voice, or just that fear of being judged or criticized, or there's definitely have been parts of that there, but there's also been this deep-seated sense of just confidence in the value I bring to the world, and the difference that I can make. So that's sort of always been there, which I'm so grateful for.
Awesome. And how are you able to just share your voice to the world, even when there's always people judging you and there will always be people criticizing you? Like, what was that aha moment when you realized, no, it doesn't even matter, right? I'm still just going to share what I love.
There's been many of those moments, but one of them was definitely when I decided, like you talked about in the intro, to share my music with the world. And so this was a really pivotal experience because, I was pregnant with my 3rd child. I've got 3 gorgeous boys. And I actually decided to just go for it in terms of proving that an unsigned singer-songwriter living right out in the country in Australia could actually top the Amazon bestseller charts, and share my music with the world and touch lives with my music, as well as bring in an income for my family, sharing my passion. So I kind of just went, I'm going to do this, and took that challenge onto myself. And it definitely brought up all sorts of stuff about just putting myself out in the world and being seen and fear of being judged. But I knew that I would also be inspiring people. I knew that it would touch lives through my music, and also through inspiring other people to know they don't have to wait around to be discovered. And, it was just so incredible because it did, like you said, it went from like 261,000th on the Amazon bestseller charts to number 1. It was actually in 12 hours, not 2 weeks, which is just completely mind-blowing. And it just skyrocketed up the charts, in front of people that I respect and love their music so much, like Eva Cassidy and Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen. And I was just like, there's my humble, beautiful little folk album sitting up there being shared with the world, and it brought in, $9,000 in album sales, which was, significant, especially when you're a singer-songwriter. So many people have created these beautiful albums, they've poured their creativity into it, and they're sitting in boxes under the bed because they're not, able to share it somehow with the world. So it was a really powerful experience, not only to have that happen and share it with the world, but to get the feedback of how inspired other people were by me just going for it. And really, it made me really realize the power of the internet and social media for our ability to share our message, share our gifts with the world. And it definitely was one of those aha moments of stepping more into my self-confidence and into my knowing that I can make a difference in the world through my music, through my voice, and just through inspiring others to just simply go for their dreams.
Wow, that's amazing. And I apologize. I thought it was like 2 weeks, and I think you told me 12 hours before. So I totally forgot. I apologize. But it's still
fine.
amazing, right? I mean, it just goes to show that you can just, anything can happen in an instant if you just believe in yourself. So, Terri, you're a great example of doing that. You went from like literally at the bottom of the charts all the way to the top in 12 hours. And it's such a great accomplishment, right? And like you said, in front of the Bob Dylan, like that's crazy. So, congrats to you. And what was your life like after that realization, after that aha moment?
Well, it's just been a steady sort of settling of me stepping more and more into my power, really. And one of the things I realized was that, yes, I have my passion for my singer-songwriting and my voice and sharing that with the world, but I also really wanted to embrace and share with the world my other passions. So as a parent and as really passionate about environmental causes and the health of our world. And, I trained as a natural health practitioner, as a healer. So really, after that sort of album launch, I really have stepped more into sharing more fully myself with the world. And that has been, more through blogging and through video, but just really embracing all the other aspects of myself and allowing myself to bring them to the world as well. So it's just like a deepening sense of self-acceptance and, self-confidence to make a difference in all of these areas. Because, for me, really, I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want this planet, this precious world we all live on and in, to, absolutely be here for the long term. So for me, all of the things that I kind of bring to the world, so my music, my parenting philosophy, my healing work, it's all to me about contributing to the health of this world in many different ways. So yeah, that's what it's been like now, is just consolidating more into how I share myself with the world and really inspiring others to go for their dreams and contribute to the health of this world, whether it's just them stepping up into being themselves more authentically, or whether it's then going out and, doing different things in the world. It's all interconnected and it all matters.
Thank you for sharing that, and I'm just glad you're doing so well and just being able to just do what you love. So thanks for sharing that. And Terri, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she's inspired, especially after hearing your story being at the top of charts on Amazon. She wants to be on her own journey, being able to live life on her terms. What would be that one tip you would give to her regarding her journey to self-confidence?
My one tip is to really know deeply that your stories matter, and that you really owning and acknowledging your own experiences in your life and beginning to share them, whether it's just to your close friends or to your children, or whether you actually start doing videos or blogging or whatever it is, just to know that the stories of your life touch other people's lives and make a difference in the world. And not you doing that brings to life all sorts of parts of yourself, which is just brings you to life, literally makes you more vibrant. I really believe that when we really acknowledge our own selves and stories as mattering, that it really makes that difference inside ourselves. And then the feedback you get is so beautiful, to know that you're touching lives. So just a sense of really owning your own value. Think of, you're listening to Sheena and I speaking now, and I'm sharing some of my stories, and, I hope that they touch and resonate and inspire you. And just know that you sharing your stories in whatever ways, small or large, will also touch other people's lives. And I just think that's a really powerful starting point or continuing point wherever you are in your journey with self-confidence, is to acknowledge the power of your own stories and that they really matter. So that's just one tip. And also to identify those 3 core words for your personal congruence, to align with them and to just, really feel those in a deep, heart-centered way, and let that influence how you are in the world and stepping into your own power.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing those tips. And Terri, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, and maybe want to get a copy of your album, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Absolutely. Yes. My blog, my website is terrinicholson.net. Love to see you on over there, and you can connect with me there. And I really appreciate being on here today with you, Sheena, and having the chance to share some of my story and inspire others. And would love to connect with you on most social media platforms. My name is Terri Nicholson, so you can find me there. But if you just go to my blog, my website, terrinicholson.net, you'll be able to find me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to the listeners, if you really do want to connect with Terri, just head on over to thetaoselfconfidence.com and search for Terri's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Terri for taking the time to share her journey, share her story with us. And so, Terri, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's a really great pleasure. Thank you, Sheena.
Awesome. And to the listeners out there, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Subscribe to The Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes or Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.